Alright, everyone. So I believe the last thing that I had ended up getting recorded on here, and I kind of left it off because we were busy trying to get some things done elsewhere and just working a little bit on this in between. We did the layout for the black tile for the floor. While I was doing something else, Tyler went ahead and put the tile in, and then we simply put this cardboard over the top of it to help protect it, just to keep any little drops from doing the rest of the tile dropping in there from filling up all the cracks. Just makes it harder to clean up and then put the grout in later. Another thing that I've done, so to get this curb in right here, we went ahead and put in that door there. We actually have the tile in that bathroom finished up. We still need to grout all this tile, but it is back in there. That was just something that we did between as well, just working on it a little bit here and there. But so we put that door in so that we could put the trim in around the door, so it would determine exactly where and how I wanted to do this curve. So this is a solid piece of marble that goes from here all the way, and considering how small of a distance it was from the corner here to there, I just thought it would look best to just take it all the way to it, and then we'll caulk it from there. This right here is a 1x that was ripped down to fit perfectly here. That was what they wanted for the base. They didn't want to do tile here. I've done it where we do tile and wrap it, but this is what they wanted. This right here, what I had done is I did the inside, this tile here. Let's see. So that tile is not level with the sides. So we went ahead and did this tile here. This tile goes all the way around, and that was creating our level point. So on this side, it's, I think, about 1.5 inches, and on the other side, it's about 1/2 inch. So, but that creates a leveling point all the way around. But then that right there, since it's just for the curb, I simply put it, a full tile. Look better than two little bitty pieces for the curb. And then with that tile being there, I used that to determine how tall to put the piece on the other side, the 1x, so that we would create our 1/4 inch drop that we need for that to drain. So it is level this way. I don't know how well you can see that. So you can see that bubble is right there. It's level that way, but this direction it's going to drop. So for water to drain. And that is, on this level, it looks like it's way down there, but I mean, this is barely, you can't, to the naked eye, you can't even tell it's not level. So that's a 2-foot level. It's just the way that they do as far as visibly showing what is level and what's not. So a few other things that we've done to get ready and prepare. I was just using up leftover mortar, and I just put these in. It's just a starter. Gives an idea of what we're going to do over here. We still got to do a Schluter strip up through here and here. I've already marked and leveled those up through where that Schluter strip will go. I've done, in most showers that I've done, I've never used the Schluter strip. I've always used actual bullnose, but they wanted Schluter strip here. So it basically is going to work just like the bullnose as far as it just creates an end point. They're also wanting to use it around the sides and the top of the nooks. That middle piece is not set. I usually use the tile to set it exactly, and that is roughly where the homeowner is wanting it. But he understands with the tile, I may want to adjust it slightly to make it look good with the tile, up or down just a little bit, depending. We'll just see how it goes. The other things we've done is we've got ourselves a line right here in the middle of that wall, well, dead center of these two, going up so we can base our tile off of that. I like to have all my tiles centered off of different items for visual purposes. This one here, what we did is we started holding a tile off the line so that that's actually what this mark is. This would be the bottom of this tile, which should come out dead center this way on these nozzles here. And then we just went down from there to determine where we wanted that bottom tile for the leveling point. The other thing we did is, as you can see, we've got this line, and that is where we're centering up that. So it'll be the center of this tile, and in between these two, so that when we get up here, that will be centered on this. And when I put in the rough-in for the plumbing, I tried to keep these in uniform measurements. So I double checked it with this tile because it always may vary some. It does look like it's going to center on this one as well. That's what I was hoping for. And it should also center on these. So that was where I tried to use them with measurements of like 6 inches and 12 inches because that's pretty standard for tile. Even numbers especially. Odd numbers would make that difficult for sure. But in this case, I think it's going to actually work out really good, which I like. So from there, we're just going to tile. Now, when we did the floor, you would have seen that I basically put down the thin set on this floor here. I put a thin set spread out on the floor, and then I put the tile on. That definitely works better with penny tile, I would say, and usually on flooring it works great. But on the wall, I believe what I'm going to be doing with this one, because it has seemed to work pretty good too, you can do it that way, and I have done it that way. The other option is to put it on the back of the tile and then press the tile in. That I think works better when you have deviations in the wall, plus it helps keep a mess when you're working with a vertical surface versus horizontal. So other than that, I mean, I've shown how to do the mixture for the thin set, so I'm not really sure what else to maybe put in this video for teaching on that goes, except seeing how the pattern, showing how I did my lineup to make everything work. Oh, and then this line right here, this level line here, this is the exact measurement up to match this one. So when you look across the shower, it will match, as opposed to, I don't know, just wrapping, and I just don't think it looks as good. As you look on one side, you'll have a seam, and directly across it, the seams will line up. One other thing that I didn't think of to say, as far as, is that when you're stacking tile like this, you only want to go so high, or it'll start, you know, at once, because you're going vertical. It's the same thing with brick. You don't want to go too far, but even more so with tile, I would say. So we're probably only going to go about 3.5 feet at a time. So, which will probably put us stopping right around where these valves are the first time. The second time would probably be close to where the shower head is going to come out. And then the last day, we will go ahead and go all the way to the ceiling. So it'll take stages like that. Also, it helps you because we only have so many spacers. And for some reason, they always want to change their spacers. They don't make them all the same every time. So I prefer to make sure I'm always using the same spacers from the same time that they were purchased at once. Just to help keep things uniform. But usually what I've got is plenty to do that. In this case, with these showers, it may be a little different because this is a very, very large shower and the tiles are kind of small. But that's what we're going to do is we'll go in steps and stages like that. I want it to be a little bit thick on this. So what I've been doing is just doing my finger at an angle on the bottom side. Just helps keep it from squeezing out in between the tile. Because it's harder to clean up there, that's all. You want to very carefully apply pressure evenly, try not to create any fracture, you know, too heavy of a pressure right in the middle, of course. It only takes just a few extra minutes getting all these lines, taking it all the way to the bottom and making sure that your bottom starts out right, and it just makes it look so much better when it's all said and done, in my opinion. It's surprising how many people don't take the time to do that when this is what everyone's going to see it off of, and you'll have the faucet and like the seam will be right here or something. They say, okay, it just shift it just a little bit. It just makes it look so much better. Alright, so of course with this, we don't want this to be level. We want it to be dropping down, going downhill for water. So looking at this, right now it already is going downhill slightly, but I'm going to want it to go a little more. So I just need to have probably about an 1/8 inch more thin set in the back than in the front. All right, so now we're finished with the installation of all the tile. We've got, of course, it all down in the bathroom and the where the toilet room goes, and then the shower is completely finished all the way up to the top and around. We showed the installation of, I think, all of the interesting parts. So, and the shower nook. Now, we did make some changes on this, you may notice. The homeowner, when he had looked at it, he wanted these flush. All we did is we basically flushed this up here. Now, it's not going to be completely flush because this tile is wavy. But it's flush, it's set flush right here, flush right here, but then it's not here. But I mean, that's to be expected. But that's just a change. I wanted to go ahead and mention that since you may see it, you may not, but now you definitely do. Anyways, so, but yeah, we've got this entire shower done, cleaned off out the grout joints. Tyler did that after he finished going up the rest of the way, and then so it's ready for grout. The grout that is used on the walls here will be the same grout that's going to be used on this floor in here. So what we'll do is we'll probably grout that and this all in the same day, and then we'll wait for that to set up, and then we'll remove this here and we'll grout the black grout that goes in with the black tile for that base. And probably the next day or a day after, and giving this some time to set up before we walk onto it to get in there, and that wall to set up before we possibly end up mixing them. But then after we do the floor, then what we'll do is we'll use the silicone caulking to get the very bottom edge all the way around. Hopefully I put in a few little pointers, at least as far as just showing you different ways of cutting it. We do have a big tile saw, however I don't use it as often. Also, I do it when there's a lot of cuts, a lot of big stuff, but on smaller jobs like the floor here, where we're doing more intricate stuff, with that the tile saw has a tendency to tweak the mesh that's on the penny tile anyway. So that's where I prefer to use either that sliding saw, that sliding cutter that you can get for that, because you can kind of hold the mesh and tweak the mesh a little bit as you're doing it, or to use the angle grinder, which you would have seen us use when we did the pre-lay for the floor in the shower. Those, you have more control over both the tile itself and what you're using. And then on top of that, if you're just a regular homeowner trying to do this yourself, you're not necessarily going to have that big $700-800 saw, and it's not going to be worth getting when you can just get an angle grinder with a diamond tip blade or one of those score snap tools, which works great even on like the wall tile here, the subway style. I would say the wavier the tile, it probably gets a little bit more difficult to use, but you know, if you're just doing like your own bathroom, you're not going to need to spend money on the big thing. So wanted to show just you can use different things. You don't have to have the big commercial tool to do it. It just makes it a lot easier when you're doing lots of stuff. So hope you all enjoyed watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you the next time.